Your body is always sending you signals, but sometimes we ignore them, thinking it's just part of getting older. But did you know that recognizing certain signs early can be the difference between serious health problems and staying safe? Today, we're going to talk about 7 physical symptoms you should never ignore, no matter what. These are the warning signs that doctors say need immediate attention. There's no time to waste when it comes to your health. Don't wait around, and don't try to brush it off. It's not about scaring you. It's about helping you protect yourself and stay healthy. Many times, older adults wait too long before seeking help because they think it's nothing or don't want to bother anyone. But the truth is, taking action right away could prevent a small issue from turning into something much worse. The sooner you notice these signs, the better control you have over your health. In this video, we'll go through 7 important signs that you must never overlook. These aren't just vague feelings, they're very specific and, in many cases, can be time-sensitive. So, stay with us until the end. You never know, one of these might just be the sign you've been missing, or it could help you save the life of someone you care about. Before we begin, I'd love to know from which city you're watching from. Drop in the comments below, and hit the subscribe button for more valuable insights and tips. Now let's get started. 1. Slurred speech or drooping face. There are certain warning signs that doctors look for when diagnosing a stroke, and some of them can show up without any prior warning. It could be the middle of a regular day. Maybe you're having a cup of tea or reading a book, and suddenly, something feels off. Your speech might become unclear, or the words might come out all jumbled. You might notice that one side of your face isn't moving like the other, or you can't smile the way you usually do. These can be subtle signs, but they are serious. If you experience anything like this, don't wait. Get help right away. These symptoms are not something to ignore or wait out. Time is critical. If you notice slurred speech, a crooked smile, or find it hard to lift one arm, you need to act quickly. Every minute you delay treatment could make things worse. For example, consider a man named Robert, a 68-year-old veteran. One morning, while sipping his coffee, he dropped his cup and couldn't understand why. When he called for his wife, the words just didn't come out right. His wife noticed his uneven smile and didn't wait. She called 911 immediately. Because she acted so quickly, Robert received the care he needed and made an amazing recovery. If she had waited, things could have been much worse. Doctors use the acronym FAST to help recognize strokes. F for face, look for unevenness or drooping. A for arms, can you raise both arms? S for speech, slurred or confused speech. And T for time, every second counts. If you notice any of these signs, don't wait to see if it gets better on its own. Get to the hospital, time truly matters. Your ability to walk, talk, or even remember things could depend on how quickly you act. It's not just about getting treatment, it's about preventing a life-changing event. 2. Sudden chest tightness or pain. One of the most alarming signs your body can send you is sudden, unexplained chest pain or a feeling of pressure. You may feel a tightness in your chest, as if something is squeezing or even burning inside. This pain might spread to your arms, shoulders, neck, or jaw. While some might think it's just heartburn or stress, the truth is, this could be a sign your heart is in trouble. For older adults, these symptoms can be much more subtle than what you see in movies. Sometimes, a heart attack doesn't come with the dramatic chest-crushing pain we often hear about. It could be a dull ache, a fluttering sensation, or just a feeling that something's not quite right. You might also feel dizzy, short of breath, or unusually tired, even if you haven't been exerting yourself physically. Take Helen, for example. She's a 74-year-old retired teacher who had a mild heart attack. One afternoon, she felt a strange tightness in her chest while reading a book. It wasn't sharp pain, but it lingered. "I thought maybe it was gas," she said, but something inside her told her to call her daughter. When her daughter arrived, she insisted they go to the hospital. Thankfully, Helen received care quickly and made a full recovery. "If I had waited, I might not be here," she said, reflecting on the experience. Helen's story teaches us an important lesson. Your body doesn't always shout when it's in trouble. It whispers. And when it whispers about something as serious as heart trouble, it might be trying to warn you before it's too late. So, if you feel chest discomfort that's new, persistent, or comes with other signs like dizziness or shortness of breath, don't wait, don't wonder, just go. Trust your instincts and get checked out. Could save your life. 3. Shortness of breath without exertion. There's a big difference between feeling winded after climbing a flight of stairs and suddenly struggling to catch your breath while sitting down. If you're sitting on the couch, reading a book, or lying in bed, and you start gasping for air with no physical effort involved, don't ignore it. Sudden shortness of breath at rest can be a sign of a serious health condition such as heart failure, pneumonia, or even a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot in the lungs, all of which need immediate attention. A respiratory expert once said, "When breathing becomes difficult without a clear reason, that's your body sending up a red flag. It's not just a result of aging or fatigue. It's a warning sign. As we get older, our lung capacity naturally decreases, and our heart has to work harder to circulate oxygen-rich blood. But the key difference between typical aging and a potential emergency is how quickly the problem appears and how intense it becomes. If you're suddenly out of breath just by walking across the room, or if you wake up and feel like you can't get enough air, there's definitely something wrong. It might be your lungs, your heart, or both, and waiting too long could make the situation worse. Take Walter, for example. He's a 76-year-old retired electrician. One evening, while relaxing and watching TV, he suddenly felt like he couldn't breathe. There was no pain, no fever, no physical activity involved, just a crushing feeling of breathlessness. His daughter insisted they go to the hospital, and thankfully, they discovered a small blood clot in his lungs. If he had waited until morning, Walter said, he might not have woken up. The takeaway? Don't just monitor shortness of breath. Act on it. If it comes on suddenly, worsens quickly, or makes simple tasks feel exhausting, get checked out immediately. Trust your body, it knows when something's wrong. Even if you're not sure what's happening, if breathing becomes difficult for no clear reason, don't wait. Get to the emergency room. It's better to find out it was nothing than to risk finding out too late. 4. Unexplained confusion or sudden disorientation. If a senior suddenly starts acting confused, forgets familiar things, or becomes disoriented about where they are or what time it is, it's easy to write it off as a sign of aging. But this kind of mental fog that appears suddenly, especially if it's unusual for them, is a major red flag and shouldn't be ignored. The truth is, sudden confusion can point to something far more serious, like a stroke, a brain infection, dangerously low oxygen levels, or even a severe reaction to medication. These conditions all require immediate medical attention. As one hospital specialist explained, in older adults, the brain is often the first to show signs of trouble. When confusion hits unexpectedly, it's your body's emergency light flashing. This is important because many families and seniors themselves might not recognize confusion as a medical emergency. They might assume it's just fatigue or a momentary lapse. But when it happens quickly, like forgetting names, getting lost in places they know, or speaking in ways that don't make sense, it's time to take it seriously. These aren't typical memory lapses that come with age. These are sudden shifts that can indicate something far more serious. Take the case of Linda, an 80-year-old woman who had always been independent and managed her own affairs. One morning, her neighbor found her in the hallway, completely confused, unsure of how she got there or why she was dressed. She kept asking the same question over and over. Her family thought it might be dehydration or exhaustion, but when they took her to the hospital, it turned out to be a urinary tract infection that caused the sudden confusion. After receiving treatment, she was back to her normal self in a few days. Her daughter later said, "I didn't know confusion could be caused by something like that. Now I'll never ignore it." The takeaway? The brain is incredibly sensitive, and in seniors it often responds to things like infections, low oxygen levels, or blood sugar changes before any other symptoms show up. So, when confusion strikes out of nowhere, don't wait for it to pass. It might go away, but if it doesn't, or if it gets worse, seek help immediately. The consequences of waiting too long could be irreversible. 5. Intense or sudden abdominal pain. We all experience discomfort now and then, especially as we get older. However, when the pain is sudden, sharp, and feels like it's worsening quickly, particularly in the abdomen, it's not something to brush off or hope will get better on its own. Severe abdominal pain can signal a number of serious medical emergencies, such as appendicitis, a perforated ulcer, pancreatitis, or even internal bleeding. In older adults, it can also indicate a blocked intestine or a ruptured organ, both of which can be life-threatening without immediate medical intervention. As one trauma surgeon once said, "When a senior complains of sudden abdominal pain, we take it very seriously because time can mean the difference between saving a life or losing one." That's something to remember. As we age, the risk of complications increases, and the classic signs of these conditions don't always appear in the usual way. You might not have a fever, visible swelling, or any obvious symptoms. It might just feel like something's off. Or you may experience sudden, intense pain that comes out of nowhere. Let me tell you about Frank, a 72-year-old man who prided himself on being tough. One evening, after finishing his dinner, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his lower abdomen. He thought it was just gas, so he took some antacids and went to bed. By morning, the pain had spread, and he felt too weak to even stand. His daughter quickly called an ambulance, and at the hospital, doctors discovered a twisted section of his intestine that had cut off the blood flow. Emergency surgery saved his life. Frank later admitted, "I thought it would pass, but I didn't realize how quickly things can go downhill." This story is all too familiar. Seniors often downplay their pain or wait to see if it improves. But when the pain is sharp, persistent, or completely different from anything you've felt before, it's not the time to tough it out. It's time to get checked out. You have nothing to lose by being cautious, but waiting too long could be dangerous. If you experience intense abdominal pain that doesn't subside, especially if it's accompanied by nausea, vomiting, or dizziness, don't wait. Don't Google it. Get help immediately. 6. Persistent vomiting or vomiting blood. Throwing up occasionally from something like spoiled food or a stomach bug isn't uncommon and usually passes quickly. But when vomiting doesn't stop for hours, or when there's blood mixed in, this is no longer a minor issue. It becomes a major medical emergency. Continuous vomiting can lead to severe dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, and even kidney problems. And when you notice blood in your vomit, no matter how small the amount, it's a clear sign that something serious is happening. Blood in vomit could indicate internal bleeding, a torn esophagus, or even ruptured ulcers. As one gastrointestinal specialist put it, blood in vomit is never normal. It's one of the most immediate signs of internal bleeding, especially in older adults, and should never be ignored. Sometimes people might shrug it off or misinterpret what they see. The blood could be bright red or look like dark, coffee ground specks. Either way, it's a warning sign that something inside your digestive system is in distress. In seniors, this can be caused by medications like anti-inflammatory drugs, an undiagnosed health condition, or even damage to the stomach lining due to stress. Take Evelyn, a 79-year-old woman who had been using over-the-counter pain relievers for her arthritis. One night after dinner, she started vomiting. At first, she thought it was from the shrimp she had eaten, but when she saw dark spots in the sink, she thought it was just old food. Her grandson, however, insisted they get help. At the hospital, doctors discovered that she had a bleeding ulcer that had been silently growing for months. She admitted, "I had no idea it was that serious. But if I hadn't gone in, I might not have made it another day." This is a warning that cannot be ignored. Vomiting blood is never something you should wait on or try to sleep off. It's a sign that something inside your body is broken, and it's leaking where it shouldn't. Whether it's a stomach, liver issue, or a burst blood vessel, only immediate medical care can identify the source and stop it before it gets worse. 7. High fever with stiff neck and sensitivity to light. A fever is typically your body's way of fighting off an infection. However, if that fever is particularly high and is accompanied by a stiff neck, headaches, confusion, or sensitivity to bright lights, it could be a sign of meningitis, a life-threatening inflammation of the brain and spinal cord membranes. While meningitis is more commonly seen in younger people, it can also affect older adults, especially those with weakened immune systems or other underlying health conditions. The speed with which meningitis progresses makes it critical to act quickly. As an emergency physician once put it, when an older adult comes in with a fever, neck stiffness, and light sensitivity, we drop everything. That level of urgency speaks volumes. By the time these symptoms appear, the infection could already be in full swing, and the window for effective treatment may be closing fast. Neck stiffness isn't just a minor discomfort. It's your body's way of signaling that the membranes surrounding your brain are inflamed. The light sensitivity, it's a red flag that your central nervous system is under attack. Along with these symptoms, some people might also experience nausea, vomiting, or an overwhelming pressure in the head. None of these should be dismissed as just a common cold or mild illness. Take the case of Jerry, a 75-year-old avid crossword puzzler. One morning, he couldn't finish his puzzle due to a severe headache. By the afternoon, he couldn't look down because of the pain in his neck, and even the light from his kitchen window felt intolerable. Fortunately, his neighbor, a retired nurse, recognized the signs and drove him straight to the hospital. The doctors diagnosed him with bacterial meningitis, and thanks to prompt treatment, Jerry made a full recovery. Jerry later said, "I thought I was just run down. I had no idea it could be so serious." That's the reality with meningitis. Symptoms like fever, stiff neck, and light sensitivity should never be brushed off as just a minor bug. These signs mean your nervous system is under siege, and with meningitis, every hour matters. Treatment is most effective when started early, so don't wait for an appointment or try to rest it off. Get to the emergency room and let the professionals take over. You'll never regret being cautious with your health, but waiting might cost you precious time. Taking care of yourself isn't just for your own benefit. It's for the people who care about you, your family, your friends, the ones who need you around. Every day you stay healthy, strong, and safe is a day they get to enjoy your wisdom, your stories, and the love you share with them. Your health is a precious gift, so treat it as such. Thank you for being here with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your thoughts are important to us, and your feedback motivates and encourages us to keep making content that matters. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content that informs and inspires. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.